Ainaki tournament. That was a legendary one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other ones
Some
were great.
people cry in bikes, some people cry in Ferraris.
They probably like the line for me probably goes all the way back to the trial of JTE, where you're just like, my presence brings pressure. That's a line that I actually still use. Like,
Presence
it's
brings
like a joke. I'm not even kidding.
I mean, no. Sometimes when I come in hot, they're like, "Get this guy in the mic immediately."
Yeah.
So whatever I can do, because I tell these guys, I'm like, "Yo, I'm about 5 minutes away. Get the mic ready," and they're like, "Okay." Sometimes we'll shoot promos before the even match, whatever. I'll shoot post stuff, just in case we lose. I'm like, just get me on the mic and we'll watch what happens.
Michael, do you have any questions or something you want to ask?
Does the David Ayers question still piss you off? Because you would have won if you said
every fucking day. Look, I don't like to lose. I mean, look, I thought I beat Emma in the Manager Bowl 1.
What about the baboon, the coup of the
David Ayers thing?
You're a buffoon.
That was amazing. But it's different. It's like, look, nobody likes to lose.
No.
And for sure me, But I think ultimately, what it comes down to is, yes, is it David Ayer? Yeah, I get it. But it's like, if you're saying it like David Ayer's Suicide Squad. It's not David Ayer Suicide Squad. David Ayer Suicide Squad. It's not. I don't know. Am I wrong?
Probably.
I don't know. Some people think I'm right. Whatever. David Ayers. Whatever. I mean, it haunts me to this day. Let's put it that way.
I mean, at least you didn't say David O. Russell as an Irishman, right?
That's true too. I mean, look, a lot of people. It's not just David Ayers. I've said a lot of things where I felt that I've been cheated just because of who I am.
And I actually wanted to bounce off that. Do you think it's still unfair that to the point where it's one letter, like a certain pronunciation of a word could potentially fuck up somebody's complete answer? I've seen that happen a bunch to Roka. It's happened a couple times to Makuga, where it's just recently,
sure.
and Draco
in the title match, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The title match, he said Apu, and it's no, it's Abu. Where it's you think it's so insignificant, it's one letter or one word, but no, that fucking changes the answer.
Hold on, let me put on light real quick.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah, I that's a problem. You let me go, I talk a lot, so.
He's like
is this more lit?
That is more
that's
lit.
much better, yeah.
Tom's like, if I'm gonna talk to Dom, I need to light it up. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So here's no, I totally agree with that. And as a manager in the Schmodown, and dealing with guys who are quick to the gun, Bateman with Giancarlo Stanton,
Jake,
and Mark Riley with Olivia Spencer, both cost them matches. The key is slow down. You got the time. Don't blurt out answers, because when you start blurting, you'll screw up. And that's what managers like Jay Washington, Emma Fife, and whoever else is managing people nowadays don't tell their competitors. And that's why I'm the best manager.
facts.
So, kind of on that subject, how much work do you do with your clients behind the scenes? Because we only see your stuff on the mic, but what is there that goes into the behind the scenes stuff and the strategy and all that?
I was cooking JT and Snyder steak dinners every night. You know what I mean? I mean, look, they came out. They led with their bellies half the time anyway. So it's it's like Kaiser. I think this guy is, running. I don't know. I think he's feeding them bread and water, and I think you guys running like a sweatshop or something. So the way I see it, it's good to stay hungry, but when you get when you have the taste for blood in your mouth, like JT and Snyder did, that's what it is. It's you got to constantly keep these people on edge, because people will walk in and be like, "See that guy over there? He's looking to take your place." I don't think that should happen. It's a lot of preparation before matches as well. A lot of people don't know that. I text JT and Snyder and those guys, and now the Horsemen, me and Ben Bateman are on a talk consistently. Me and Riley hang out almost every single day.
Okay.
You want to win. Trust me, losing sucks.
So you're a big proponent of like actual friendships within a faction and stuff, because it really builds the camaraderie and helps you build up that chemistry and just overall being on the same level.
Absolutely. Like I would I would have JT and Snyder, I'd rent him a car, and I'd have my buddy park it, and then they would sit back and watch me work out. So just to get
feel honored.
Like, what are we doing here? And then they would sit back and eat steaks, and I'd just just run around the track like Drago and do pull-ups and stuff like that. And like, look at our manager out there. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
How much in a hand?
Rocky ranking,
Yeah.
Henry.
Oh yeah.
No.
I'm a big Rocky 5 guy. I'm like the only person in the world, but I'm a big Rocky 5 guy.
I don't hate it.
I haven't seen it in a couple of years.
It's
I don't hate it.
I really
Judge it.
appreciate the whole Robert storyline, and I feel like the comparison to Tommy Gunn and Robert, that it kind of makes him a bad dad, but it's also his love of the game of boxing, and it has that emotional weight to it. So as you grow older, I think you can kind of relate to that, especially if you become a father. So I think it's a pretty good movie.
Where do you guys think the hate for Rocky 5 comes from? Well, because I haven't seen it in a couple
I think
years.
it's Stallone.
I have the answer. The only real answer is, if you put him in the ring against Tommy Morrison at the end, it's a totally different movie.
Yeah.
You put him in the street, it's not. It just didn't play right.
Okay.
You throw him in the ring for a championship fight with Duke in Tommy's corner, Paulie in Rocky's corner, the kid in Rocky's corner. You put it in a ring, it's an entirely different movie. Is it a great movie? No. In the ring, it's a better movie, and I think in the ring would have caused a lot of less hate, in my opinion.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's just different expectations, and it's kind of they were trying to do something different and do something 90s or late 80s, and it didn't.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I obviously, like I said, Rocky 5 is always like the least liked out of all of them, but like I said, that's the one where it's like I don't get how it's worse than like Rocky 3 or 4. I don't think any of them are like objectively bad movies.
Yeah.
No, look, my Rockies, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5.
Creed.
I don't really.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I just don't really count it as Rocky movies unless Rocky's fighting. Yes, it's a Rocky movie, but it's not really a Rocky movie.
Right.
That's
fair.
my opinion. So I leave them in their own. They have their own category.
Are you a Creed 1 or Creed 2 guy though?
I like Creed 1 better. The nostalgia purposes really, really worked. I thought 2, that they brought the nostalgia, it back a little bit with Drago and the mom and stuff like that. I thought it was a little uneven in the beginning, and started to pick up steam towards the middle and the end, and I dug that. I'll never hate on a Rocky movie. I'll always find the positive in them.
Yep.
So. And that's the way I look at it.
There you go. Who do you think won at the end of 3, Apollo or Rocky?
I'd go Rocky. The guy doesn't lose. He probably hit Apollo with another body shot, probably busted his rib again.
Hey, if anything, we can just blame Rocky for his poor performance in 4.
That's a possibility. I think obviously he was against a guy who was on steroids at that time, allegedly, Apollo just wasn't ready. Didn't train right. Look at the homeboy who got knocked out the other day against the Mexican guy.
Yeah.
The Mexican Rocky. When you train for a fighter, and then they put somebody else in, your whole algorithm is off.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the way it goes. It's like what they said in Collider Live today, and I agree with that as well. You train for somebody, you're ready to play somebody, and then you play somebody else, and they pull the old switcheroo. It's a different story.
Yeah. That's it. I know it sounds silly to say, but yeah, trivia, it's the same way, where it's, you're prepping mentally for a type of match strategy or whatever, and it affects everything. And I bet you as a manager that would probably piss you off. Like, no, that's not what we signed up for. Like, come on, we can't be doing that.
No, of course. Did anybody see me smoke JT in the Rocky trivia?
Oh yeah.
Yep. I didn't see that.
And then that bum
There's
Harloff
one
challenged
question
you,
the entire
right?
match.
Yeah, it's going to be the next one is a very, very interesting match. Let's put it that way.
Is
Is
it
it you against Harloff?
Yeah.
It's against Harloff.
Yeah. It's like a 5-round thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
it's amazing.
There we
Let's
go.
put it that way.
Can't wait.
Man.
Yeah, it's
Is that
it's
one
amazing.
exclusively on Patreon, or is that going to YouTube also?
You know what? I think I don't know yet. I don't know what Christian's going to do with it, but it deserves to be
Scene.
possibly at the
Seen
live
by everyone.
It deserves to be at the live event.
Yeah. That sounds like something that I feel like that would be at a live event more so than anything else.
It really should. I told Christian a bunch of times there should be some kind of novelty match that starts off the live.
Yeah, it gets everyone warmed up.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, instead of hyping up the crowd with like whoever comes out, do. I think you play a fun novelty match like a manager's bowl, things like that. Something that just gets the crowd crazy, and then the real players come out. But I mean, like I said, the Rocky can transform into a really cool, maybe even a belt or just. I mean, obviously you're only playing with 8 movies, but you could segue enough. You know what I mean? There's only
It's just like the Star Wars League.
there's
They have
only
a limit to that.
there's only a couple of Lord of the Rings. I mean, shit.
Yeah. Was there ever?
Who took over Rocky's locker in Rocky 1? Does anybody know that
Right.
question?
Yeah. No.
I do. The answer is Dipper Brown.
That's right. Yeah.
So
You gotta
but
keep
were
you
there
gotta
any
keep
other
that
i-
one to yourself.
Were there any other? Yeah. Were there any other ideas floated, like to potentially have like not just for Patreon but for like regular because I know the thing that Full Metal Random does. One of the other families is they have like Full Metal. I said Full Metal. The Full Metal League does. They have it's called Full Metal Random, which is where they have like leagues, like people base each other in specific areas that they know. Like, was there ever any ideas floated like that at the actual Schmodown?
Yeah, would you ever be honored to be the NXT champ of all time?
I mean, look, I think I think what they have is working for them right now. I have very little say in the algorithm or the way he structures his stuff, but I don't know. I think it's running the way it needs to be run right now, and it's still technically in its infancy.
Yeah. There's way more room for expansion and growth and ideas.
Totally, 100%, and that takes money. It takes a lot of things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and to keep it going as much as we possibly can, but to expand from one live show in 2016 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
17, and then do a bunch in 18, and then almost do pretty much one a month now,
Yeah, it's wild.
which I think is pretty fantastic.
That's insane.
And I think the ultimate goal that we were talking about is almost having it to a point where, you do the Ellis Comedy Show, you do a top 10 thing, you do, I'll premiere like 2 episodes of Bobby and Juice at a show. Like, you make
Shit.
it almost like a Comic-Con for Schmodown related things, or not even Schmodown, just like Collider related, or
Yeah,
just
Schmoville or all that
family
type of stuff.
related things where you come in, you can do something on a Thursday, you do something on a Friday, you do a meet and greets on a Saturday, then you throw the big event, the Schmodown on a Saturday, and I think that will gather and attract more people in the long run. Because look, if you break down the Star Wars celebration in Chicago, sure, you sell out a 1,000-seat theater because you've got 250,000 other people looking to do something on a night where Star Wars is over with. So yes, you fill it with 1,000 people. Houston was at the Booker T thing, and we got 350 people, and just for a random one-time thing, plus an Ellis show on Friday. So I think if we're able to power pack, different kind of venues and different kind of shows and different kind of things where they could do a girl show, they could do this, they could do that. If we promote it more and get different shows out there, it can be like a Comic-Con just for Schmodown, or Collider people and things like that. And I think you can get more people coming to those things. In July when we go to Comic-Con, I think we'll sell out the theater as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think pump 1,000 people there regardless.
Nuts.
It's because it's something other to do. Because it's like you're in San Diego for 3 days. Comic-Con shuts down at 6 o'clock. You're like twiddling your thumbs. What am I going to do from 6 to 8 to 12?
Right.
Start throwing some events here and there. You get people to come and figure it out.
Yep.
So that's the way I see it.
Curious how, if you got chosen to compete in a match at a live event, how would you? Do you think you would step up and match the live intensity you need to sort of be entertaining? Because I think it's different from a studio, being entertaining in studio to a live event. Would you be able to? Would you want that? Would you want to compete in a live event?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, if it's Rocky, Rocky orientated, definitely, 100%. I'll tell you what, though, under the lights, man, it's a different story. No matter what anybody wants to tell you, once you start getting under the lights, it's a different story. And especially even in Collider Studios under the lights. But when you're sitting there, in front of 1,000 people and you're answering questions, it becomes a very interesting prediction. I think, and not a lot of people have that moxie that they can actually do that. And, you've seen people choke in live events that they know the questions, they just say it wrong because they're just shook.
Yeah.
I mean, me, I've performed, I've been performing since I'm 2 years old, so it's like, not for mass audiences or whatever,
Whoever's watching.
So, I mean, it's easy for me. But, I mean, look, for me, it's just the questions. I mean, if I get the right questions, sometimes I sit back in the studios, listen to matches. I'm like, I went 7 for 8 there. And then I'll play in a match and get 1. And I'm like,
I've been there.
Then I immediately call Skalicki and I'm like, bro, what is going on?
Are you out to get me, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it always seems that way, so.
Have you ever actually taken time out to prep for a match where it's studying a specific category or whatever you put on the slice, or it's something where you just have the mindset, if I know it, I know it, and I'm hoping that I'm just growing with my knowledge as time goes on?
I mean, you'll see what the Rocky is. I mean, you'll see when it airs, and I'll have a lot to say about it, and regardless. I think there are some people who just know stuff. I mean, some people retain knowledge better than others. There's certain. I like to think of myself as somebody who knows a bunch of stuff, but I forget what it's called. It's like I know a little about everything and a lot about nothing. So it's like you could give me 3 easy answers to any movie, and I'd probably get them. But if you start digging deep, I'm done.
Yeah.
Now, it's the same thing that happens, I don't even know, I have to ask Frankie Numbers how many questions have been asked in the Schmodown as a whole. And he'll know it right off the bat because he's Frankie Numbers, so he knows. So it's like, it's probably, I would venture to say it's probably in the high 50 to 60,000 questions at this point, maybe more. So what I tell my, people under my regime is, look, if you get something like Denzel Washington, it's been picked 1,000 times already. So now you're going to start getting questions about, what shirt was he wearing in Virtuosity? You know what I mean? It's not going to be who starred with him in this anymore. Those questions are gone already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, when new categories come up, go with that one because it's going to be fresh. Questions might not be as deep. So that's another way I manage these guys as well.
All right, I have a question here. So in the fan leagues, as you saw today,
one more I gotta bust out.
Last question. So in the fan leagues, we're allowed to pretty much make up our own categories, where it's Wes Anderson, or we've done Darren Aronofsky, or we can do
stuff that you wouldn't.
Yeah,
stuff
that's not natural slices
Kramer.
on the wheel. Yeah, they did Stanley
Sure.
Kramer. So. How do you feel would that be a possibility or an option? Would you like that as a manager where your players would have an option to really expand their niche broad or their niche general, topics and potentially have that even stronger advantage over, other players, especially because the questions haven't been asked yet, so they're more surface level too?
And what director would you choose if you had the choice?
Totally. I mean, the way I see it, I mean, I wanted Beverly Hills Cop on the wheel. And little more niche things, and they don't want to do it. They're frowning upon it.
Yeah, our limit is 6 movies, so that's what we try and do, 5 or 6 movies depending on the league. But so, like for example, Darren Aronofsky, he has 6 movies, or Wes Anderson 9 movies, or stuff like that. So it's like we try and keep it so you have enough to ask from, but it's also not the Back to the Future trilogy or the Godfather trilogy. We try.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, it should be that way. I think a lot of the stuff is pretty broad. So if me personally, when I spin the wheel, if I roll on like Reese Witherspoon or Julia Roberts, I'll take it, just so I don't like roll on something else like animated or whatever, because it's so random.
Yeah.
I would like to keep it kind of like involved. So that's what I always tell these guys as well. I'm like, unless you like, you're Chance Ellison who knows animated like the back of his hand or whatever the case may be, or like Tim Franco with James Bond, or even Kalinowski with James Bond and things like that. I mean, look, if I roll on Arnie and Sly, I'm going to be really good about it. But I thought I was very good at sports movies. And you know what? I got smoked on it. I mean, they brought a soccer movie and a horse racing movie and some other shitty rugby. I was like, maybe sports ain't my winning.
Cycling, breaking away.
All right. It is what it is. You never know what questions are going to be, come up. So now they got other people writing them, and like, it's the surface level questions are like almost gone.
Yeah.
So people are going to start.
That's what happens when you've been playing for 5-6 years.
No, exactly. And obviously that's why I was ranked number 3 in the first season. You know what I mean?
Throwback.
Yeah. And it's just crazy too.
Number 3 anywhere. There would have to be like 30 people would have to die or something to be redeemed.
But it's crazy too. Like, just like if I can get like one last comment before you leave, because I know you got to go. But like, it's just crazy because like I always try to explain to my parents, it's like fucking like these guys legitimize movie trivia, and they're like, "What? You got like a trivia match?" Like they think it's fucking stupid. But I'm like, yeah, fucking the thing that I've loved since like I was a little kid. Like I'm fucking going back memorizing IMDb facts like when I'm 5 years old.
Oh yeah,
fucking think that shit's useless, and now like look at it, it's fucking main sport. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, it pushes you forward.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, you can bring it up in conversation. You could use it in like you're on a date with a chick. Throw out some dialogue there. It's all about knowledge. Like people without knowledge, I don't deal with them. Like you got to have knowledge.
Yeah, pick up chicks with.
I like talking to people with knowledge. I like talking to people who make me smarter.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I like doing. Yep. Unfortunately, I don't do it that much at the Schmodown. But except for a random few. But I mean, no, these guys are great. I'm kidding. But anyway. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pleasure meeting you. And then, I'll send you the link when it's all up and see what you think of the final product.
Tweet it out, and I'll retweet it, and we'll play that game, and we'll see what's up.
There we go. All right, man. Appreciate you taking the time out.
Thanks, man.
Nice seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
There you go. All righty. Later.